This premise is so dumb, but I love it. So Lisa Frankenstein feels like a movie that wouldn't be out of place in the 1980s. It has a premise of the school reject bringing a dead body back to life and slowly killing a handful of people just to get the body parts back to kind of help resurrect this creature. It weirdly fits with that motif. So this film takes place about a year after Lisa's mother was killed by some random axe murderer that is somehow never mentioned again. Lisa's father remarries in less than a year, and they move to a new town with Lisa's new stepmom, Janet, being Aunt Petunia levels of bitchiness. Lisa also spends a lot of her free time at the local cemetery reading to graves because edgy. Early in the film, Lisa goes to a party with her stepsister Tiffany, who isn't a complete monster, but we'll get to that. Lisa is drugged, and this asshole Doug acts like a good guy and tries to take care of her until he cops a feel and tries to take advantage of her. P.S. to any guys watching this, don't be like Doug. Doug dies, and Doug deserved it. Spoiler. One night, a bolt of lightning reawakens Zach from the dead. Or is it Cody? Anyway, Lisa and the creature bond, but he's missing an ear. Janet plans to ship Lisa off to a psych ward, but the creature intervenes, killing Janet, and honestly, that could have happened sooner. Lisa sews the ear to the creature, and he's electrified in a tanning bed, thus his ear now works, and he looks like less dead? It's worth noting that throughout all of this, Lisa is crushing on a school English nerd, Michael Trent. Flash forward, one of my favorite scenes is when Lisa gets that creepy wannabe good guy from the beginning into the cemetery. Doug says that this is not very Christian-like to fool around in a cemetery, but Lisa lures him in with kind of the promise of sex. Obviously, the creature kills him to take his hand. And I love the play on the old adage, be careful, there are dangerous girls out there that lure out good boys with the promise of the devil. She is the woman your mom warned you about. I love how inverted it is where the good Christian boy is the bastard, and that, well, he gets what he deserves. It reminds me of this scene.
We are the weirdos, mister.
This movie also has so much style. It's a modern gothic take. Like, it's not all the way through, but the way the characters dress and some of the symbolism, it's awesome. Also, like the old adage, I know her name is Lisa Frankenstein. In the actual movie, her name is Lisa Swallows, which, look, you're gonna have a tough time in school, kids. If your last name is Swallows, good luck. But this film has so much style to it, and I love it. Also, the further along we go, the more we have a discussion about the pain of grief and what it looks like. Lisa remarks that people wanted her to move on quickly instead of letting her mourn her mother properly. The idea of grief is Lisa finding more in common with a mute creature that lets her talk than anyone around her. She vents out her pain. Lisa is eventually cornered in the death of Doug and runs off. She decides that if she's going to have sex with Trent, it has to happen now. But she walks in on Trent with Tiffany. Bear in mind, Tiffany was also distraught about her missing mother along with, well, Trent. Also, apparently he thought she was more than just a pretty face, which I guess I could see why, like, she would want to be with someone that thinks of her that she's, you know, a smart person instead of just being a cheerleader. Also, real quick, just in Tiffany's defense, she did try to steer Lisa away from Trent multiple times. Like, she kept saying, don't go for him, he's the reject, he's not cool, this and this. I mean, she tried. Also, I mean, just like a heads up, that is your stepsister. If you like him and your stepsister likes him, maybe tell her that and have that actual conversation instead of, you know, I don't know what I'm saying. Next. The creature then comes in and kills Trent by, say cutting off his member. Let's see if that gets demonetized. He spares Tiffany at Lisa's request, and Lisa comes to terms with the fact that the cops are closing in on her, and her only chance to get away might be to fake/commit her own murder. But before that, she, how to say this? She sews on Trent's member to the creature, and, Jesus Christ. They sleep together, and she dies in the tanning bed by, quote-unquote, accident. At her grave, Tiffany and Lisa's father visit. She is seemingly resurrected. The film ends with the creature reading to her, looking very human, while she looks a lot like the Bride of Frankenstein. And honestly, I really enjoyed this one. It felt like such a throwback to the style of much older times, kind of in the same vein as Totally Killer did last year. This movie doesn't get bogged down with explanation, it just goes. Shut up and go with it. And that's not a bad thing. I remember last year I said, Happy Death Day freaky, and totally killer, and made up what I like to call the Killer Blonde trilogy. Well, this movie feels like one of those films. It's fun and it's worth watching. And it's relatively quick. It's only about 100 minutes long, barely cracking an hour and a half, granted including credits. It's a fun watch, and it's a B for me, but what do you think? Did you like Lisa Frankenstein? Let me know down below, I'd greatly appreciate it, and we'll catch you all next time. We'll see everybody.